Oh my god. Do we already have a counter for Black Order? Like, seriously? And it's not even that meta? Okay, so I had heard some rumors about this, and I was like, nah, Fox Next is preaching this is the next Apex Arena team. They're going to dominate an arena and PvP, or however the blog wrote it, and it was said on multiple occasions that the Black Order is going to just kind of dominate. Now, to Matt Sheets' credit, he did say that they're always interested in seeing how the player base comes together and pieces things and figures out exactly how to counter something. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, I can appreciate that. Maybe there's a Hela, Phoenix, Captain Marvel, Black Bolt, Mr. Sinister, like the apex of Apex characters all coming together to do something. Maybe, maybe something's, tricky there, or like all like a burst team or something that kills the critical maw or something like that. Well, apparently we have a great theory crafter in our community. Very great. And I'll give him a shout out in the video, even though he told me he didn't need one. But I think he might have figured out a counter. And it seems solid. He's done his math, he's done his homework, he's got a great write-up that I'll go through and show you guys. I'll go through it slowly so you can see it and touch on it a little bit, but I'll go through the team that he uses and show you that sequence so you can at least see it. And more importantly, I'm going to talk about a way I think that Fox Next could fix this. What I mean by that is, does Fox Next really want to release this epic of a team that's been built up to be this PvP juggernaut and be beaten by what I consider a pretty lackluster, or at least a part of it is just kind of like, really? Like the key components are just like, really, them? Anyway, so enough of that. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Say like, no, this is great. We all want this. Cool. Or, anything I go through here, please, post in the comments below that this is missing. But the person who did the theory crafting here is a really intelligent person. I've seen him talk before on a lot of different theory crafting stuff. They put this together. They're the one who came up with this and did a ton of the work. So anyway, let me go through the specifics of who the team is, the specifics, and my kind of thoughts on how it can be fixed.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, first the shout out to the excellent theory crafter who put this together. I'm going to totally butcher your name. Aerolith Lion? So I'm just going to call you the Arrow Lion. Arrow here has this great write-up. I'll go through it. I pieced this together in a different forum so that it's all continuous. There were some gaps in there that I had to kind of piece together. So I've got one spot where I got it all together and I'll read through it. So point of this part, shout out to Arrow. If you guys see him on any of the Discords and he frequents many of them, pat him on the back. Dude's killing with the theory crafting here. So giant clap of the hands. Well done. All right. So anyway, let's check out the big chunks of steps here that basically beats this team. Okay, first the team. The team. Phoenix, who technically, all right, she is technically meta. Granted, the Maw kit, you're thinking, all right, he's going to erase her. But there's a way around that in this particular setup. Ultimus, which, given prior to this, is the big bad of the game and is totally underwhelming. So maybe this is the point of Ultimus in the game, is for him to be theory crafted into beating the Black Order prior to them being in the game. Sinister, who's also a pretty meta-ish PvP tune. A lot of people use him in Arena. I know I use him on both, or at least I have been using him on defense for sure. I've kind of gone back and forth with him on offense depending on who I'm facing, but he's a great character. And kind of the letdown here is Korath, the mighty Korath, who is essentially the key, or half of the key. When you're with friends and you've got those I don't know about you guys, but me and my bestie, we've got this heart-shaped locket that kind of pieces together with a crack in the middle. Korath is half of that. Okay, so Korath has half of the key ingredient, the key piece that comes together to beat this team. Korath and Ultimus. Final, I'd say, borderline key is Captain Marvel. And all the stuff that I'm about to put here that you're going to see, which is up there now. And again, I'm not going to read all of this because it's a lot, but you're going to be able to get the gist of it. Essentially what this all comes down to is Korath is able to put a taunt on Ebony Maw, which gives Ultimus enough of a speed increase or speed bar fill that Ultimus is going to go before Ebony Maw. Ultimus, using his ult with the taunt and some other positive effects, is potentially able to kill Ebony Maw, or if he doesn't, because the death proofs should flip them to bleeds. If he doesn't, you've got a Captain Marvel sitting there ready to nuke, and if there's one death proof, you know that the nuke is going to basically hit and kill that death proof, and the AoE passive is then going to knock out Maw. So once you get Maw off the board, things become a lot easier. And that's where this whole step-by-step process kind of goes through to show you how to get there. And again, I'm going to slowly go through this, scroll through it. I'm not going to read each one of these. I'm going to kind of hit the, high-level parts. But Thanos goes first. Obviously, he can only basic. And then Proxima goes with her speed up. She's going to be putting offense down on people. And then Korath at this point is going to apply taunt on Maw with the special. So that means Thanos hasn't used a special, which is the most critical aspect in my mind of the Black Order team, is getting to that Thanos special so that you can put taunt on Call Obsidian. But the empowered Thanos needs more energy to get to that special, as opposed to using special first turn in a regular Thanos situation. So Korath applies taunt to Maw. Will typically call one ally to assist, and there's some stuff in here that talks about how it's more than likely going to end up being a Kree. Okay, so now you've got your taunt on Ebony Maw. After that, now Thanos is actually taking his special, which puts the taunt on Call Obsidian. But Ebony Maw still has his taunt. So you're like, I need to get to Maw's turn. I need to get to Maw's turn. Well, the plus 60% turn rate is right. It's not right. It's actually 30. Arrow told me that even with it's actually 30, but it gets you to the speed that you need for Ultimus to take his turn before Ebony Maw. I think Ebony Maw's effective speed needs to be like 145 for Ebony Maw to be faster. That's one spoiler of how to fix this, but I don't think that's what they're gonna do. If they were gonna do anything at all, Fox Next. So then Ultimus has his turn, okay, and because there's a taunt on Ebony Maw, and Thanos is taunted Call. That's where he gets the 60% turn meter, because there's a double taunt, but still, I think you only need the 30 anyway. Ultimus's passive turn meter boost is proceeded twice. We're ready to ultimate Maw. So ultimately, it's Ultimus ulting Ebony Maw, which I already mentioned is going to potentially flip positive effects. It's going to do a ton of damage to him. Okay, and then Captain Marvel goes. All right, so we're going to scroll down here. And again, pause. I want you to pause if you need to, if you want to read all of this verbatim. It's a lot, so I'm not going to go through all that. Captain Marvel goes. If Maw has one death proof left, Maw is going to break it, and then the CM's passive is going to kill him. So if he does not have any left, it's his basic call, otherwise call will retaliate for hitting Maw. Save binary, blah, blah, blah. And then Phoenix goes, special, all these different things. Corvus goes through all of these steps, but I'll scroll down here so you can just, if you want to read it, I think he goes to Thanos' third turn, maybe? I forget exactly. But ultimately, it's about getting Ultimus to Maw before Maw goes. And for me personally, I just don't love that. It's kind of like, you're bringing in, you being Fox Next, the game, the developers, is bringing in this allegedly Apex new team that's essentially defeated by Kree, you know, and it's like, yeah, Captain Marvel's dope, you know, and I think she's a great tune and she should stay relevant for a long time. But Korath is the key to it. Ultimus, yes, he's the big bad, but I don't know. So all these tunes are in the game. Typically, the way you set this up is you introduce an Apex team, and then you bring somebody else in later that we all are going to want to get to be able to beat that team. But it appears, I'll scroll down a little bit more here, that the team's already in the game. You know, and I talked to Arrow quite a bit about this. I'm like, wait a minute, really? Like, okay, so it's only 30. I get the 30% team speed meter for Ultimus. And he's like, yeah, but still gets there. And I'm like, what's the effective speed you need to be able to get Maw to go in front of Ultimus? And he said 145, which makes sense. And I'm kind of like, this is really, you know, I was like, this really what's going to happen with Black Order is that you're going to use this team to beat them? You know, and again, I'm sure you're going to need these guys. They're not going to be T9 beating them if you've got a T13 Black Order. Okay, so I'm saying more of an all things equal type situation. And obviously, if you haven't finished Dark Dimension 3 a second time, which very few people have, you know, you're not going to have 5 reds on Ultimus. Some people don't even have them built up. But I'm just sitting here struggling. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm just struggling going, Korath and Ultimus are the, you know, the team, the crux of what brings down this new team that's not even in the game yet. I'm like, I want to look at how much money I put together. I'm like, I hope I didn't spend much money trying to get, you know, this Black Order team if this is going to be the counter. Because it's just going to be knocked around arena with this team. It's like, okay, yeah, great. You know, if you don't, you're already always going to lose in arena anyway. There's no good defense. Okay, there's some better than others. There's some RNG ones that you might get to, but I don't know. The way that Fox Next was pitching this, I thought that this Black Order team would be able to hold a little bit better than have I'm going to say non-meta team beat them. I don't know. So anyway, let's talk about, now that I've had this stuff up on the screen long enough where you could have paused it if you wanted to read it, let's talk about how I think if Fox Next changed a couple things prior to, which I personally think they should, and I'm sure a bunch of people are like, no, WolverThor, you suck, this is perfect, this is great. Personally, I don't think, I think if they enter a team or bring a team in that's meant to be a new meta type team, a PvP team, then it should be. It should not be defeated by Kree and 2, you know, meta tunes or semi-meta. Phoenix is meta, you know, Sinister is pretty meta, but to me that's, I don't know. I just don't see it that way, personally. You know, and it's not for any other reason than I need, you know, I want to see the evolution of the game continue to go where it's, you know, that you've got to have that carrot on the stick a little bit. I don't love it. I'm not going to keep funneling money, but I think when you have these Apex teams come every so often that it should feel like an Apex team. And for me personally, it doesn't. So anyway, let's talk about the couple things I think they could change. Okay, so you can see here one of the ways that I'd mentioned, or yeah, I kind of mentioned it, that you could increase our guarantee that, you know, Ebony Maw here could go before Ultimus is increasing the speed. But changing his speed from 122 to 145, I don't think that's the right decision. It affects too many other things. It becomes way too fast. I don't like it. So there's ways to make his effective speed different. And if you don't know what effective speed is, I've mentioned that multiple times, is there's certain ways to increase someone's ability to go or make them faster in game. Speed up, fill their speed bar. You know, Magneto has, when other tunes drop, he gets a speed bar filled, things like that. So and I'm mentioning ways to do this. So one thing you could do with, he's got a kit, you know, or in any of the Black Order's kit is upon dropping, he could get speed up, or somebody, either Thanos empowerment or Proxima going, speeds up Ebony Maw to allow him to go. And it doesn't even need to last, you know, past the first turn. It's just getting him to go before Ultimus. That to me is kind of okay, you know, you could throw that in there. On his spawn, you know, he gains all these different things. He's a regen, death proof, immunity, fill Thanos' speed bar by 25% per Black Order ally. You know, you could add, like, maybe fill ally Thanos and self speed bar, and maybe you don't want to do his self by 25% per Black Order ally, but maybe it's just fill self speed bar by 25%, or add, like I said, 2 death proof, speed up, and immunity, and it's like, okay, so now he's got speed up on spawn. It's like, all right, that's fine. So he's now going. So you're finding ways to give him some speed. And again, it can come from him, it can come from approximate midnight, whatever. And the same thing, or it could be just a speed bar fill. All right, it could be some way to give him a speed bar, again, from the spawn of him, or something that has to do with Thanos getting empowered, or Proxima using her special or passive. So that's one way. To me, I think the most obvious way is to insert what is already in the game and used for Magneto. Is right here. Okay, and that just sits there, gain 10,000%, or is that, yeah, 10,000% resistance against taunt. Take that line, put it in Ebony Maw's kit. That's it. That's it. That to me is the easiest thing. He's not in game. It is a very specific thing that you want to do with it, and that's it. And move on. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes the most sense. I think that Fox Next wants and has pitched the Black Order as being a high level. It's funny that timing of that ad at the moment. High level team in PvP, and I would recommend to them to avoid, some pushback from the community, some people even taking it further, which I'm not going to mention here in the video, but you can get my drift. That I think people potentially do. And I don't want to see that. I want to see, teams come in the game. The only complaints are, oh my gosh, I got another team to work on. This sucks, blah, 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 which I get. But to be like, oh my God, I invested all this stuff in this team and it's not even what they said it would, like, that doesn't feel good. And then you sit there and you're like, the next time a team comes around, like, you know what? I don't want to. Last time they screwed me. People talk about Wakanda all the time. This is Wakanda 2.0. The X-Men, I feel like they got pretty well. It was, they're a pretty, Apex PvP, versus other team. I mean, they rock war. Arena meta, a couple of them did for a while. Cyclops still can sit on there too, even though he came later. But yeah, that's my thoughts. So that's really all I got to say about it. Again, shout out to Arrow. I don't know. Do you guys think Fox Next should let it go in the way it is and, see if this counter truly is going to be what it seems to be? And, I personally trust Arrow on it. He clearly has done a lot of homework here, clearly knows the game very well, can theory craft very well, and has put together quite a counter for a team that's is not even in the game yet and is supposed to be dominant once they get in the game. I know for me, if I had known this and seen this, I would not. I don't think I'd pitch to anyone to don't invest in Black Order, unless you need them for war. If you need them for war, great, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. But if you're using them for arena, meh. Just make sure that you've got your Thanos and Korath decently build up. The other 3 you probably already have built up anyway. So build up those 2 as opposed to building up 4 because you probably already got Thanos built up. So 2 versus 4, less resources. Bring Ultimus and Korath up as opposed to 4 for Black Order. And you're good. You can beat the Black Order if they're on defense and keep whatever defense you've got in arena because it's still going to be, a pain in the butt to beat. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. So again, share in the comments below, discuss, let me know, come join the Discord, links in the description below. Hammer on that like button, click the notification bell, the subscription button, all that kind of goodness. Share with the Alliance mates, grandma, grandpa, cousins, aunts, uncles, and friends and other family. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.